The good news is you sold some property this year and you made a lot of money. The bad news is you may be subject to some heavy capital gains that you may or may not have expected. Stepping into quarter four is the best time to start tax planning and strategizing. Stay tuned for some tips to might help you offset some of those capital gains and still keep your money working hard for you. Stay tuned. Hello again and happy Tips Tuesday. Thanks again for joining me. I'm Gary Massa with Massa & Associates. And before we do anything else, please leave a comment or a like below. Just let me know that you're watching. I really appreciate it. So today we're talking about going into the fourth quarter, and right now is the perfect time to start your tax planning and strategizing for next year, the filing, right? While you still have time in this year to make any adjustments. So I've been having a lot of conversations more recently, but over this last year, a lot of sellers have decided to sell their home. Like this was the best year to sell their home and take some of that money off the table, do some other investments or whatever they needed to do with it, maybe sell and buy a new home, etc. But a lot of them, if it was a primary residence, have gone over that $500,000 exclusion for capital gains. And as you know, if it's an investment property, there's no exclusion, so you're subject to capital gains. And the biggest myth that I've found and come across is that people believe that if you buy another home, it rolls over and you don't have to pay any tax. And that's not exactly true. So please, first of all, check with your CPA to understand how any sale or gain on a property affects your tax situation. But here's what a lot of the conversations that I've been having is, a lot of those sellers have superseded that cap gains exclusion of $500,000, and they're looking at most likely a pretty hefty capital gains tax bill into next year. So there's a few different ways to offset that. Here's one strategy that we're using with our clients right now. Now, as you know, that I do help people invest into apartment buildings through syndication. And with a lot of one of the big benefits of investing in these apartment syndications is the heavy year one depreciation that we're able to give our clients. So in example, and again, this does change from deal to deal, but in example, some of the deals that we've offered in the past have been able to give about $40,000 to $50,000 in depreciation in the first year, in which those investors can then use to write off against any incomes or gains that they have throughout the year, which usually helps to offset any cap gains. So for instance, if you have $150,000 in cap gains that you would have to pay from a sale of property, maybe you made over $500,000, then you might, if you invested 300 of that, you might be able to offset those that cap gains expense and keep your money invested and working hard for you. Okay, so you're still getting money, you're still getting dividends, and you're still getting a return at the very end that's quite hefty. So again, these are all individual situations that may and may not work for each individual people. And again, please talk to your tax advisor. But again, if you have any, and again, these are conversations we're having right now on tax planning. If you have any questions because you've made some gain, please let me know. I'm happy to explain how this particular strategy works for you. And ideally, you'd go and talk with your your CPA to make sure that actually would help out your situation. But again, all in all, the point that I'm really trying to make today is start using the time wisely right now to start tax planning for your next filing next year while you still have time to make some adjustments. Maybe it's time to sell a house. Maybe it's time not to sell a house. Make some investments, etc., to help your situation. But you've got time now to figure that out before the end of the year. Any questions or thoughts or any insight, I'd love to see it. Please put a comment down below. Give me a thumb to like it. Appreciate you watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help. See you next time.